President Biden says he would consider eliminating the filibuster to codify abortion rights in the U.S. The Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade was just one of the hot-button issues the court tackled in this latest term.
So to talk more about this, let's bring in CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson now. Hi, Jessica. Great to see you. So the Supreme Court today rolled back the Environmental Protection Agency's authority to limit greenhouse gas emissions from power plants. I mean, we're aware the case is a little more complicated than that, but it boils down to that. So what does this mean for the Biden administration's plans to combat climate change, and what options does this leave the administration with?
Well, it significantly limits their options. As you said, the EPA had tried to go forward with much bigger changes to say, we're going to try and curtail the emission of greenhouse gases, and we're going to try and do it through our power under the Clean Air Act of 1970. The court today said you lack the congressional authorization to do that. So the obvious choice would be to try and go back to Congress. Now, a couple of hurdles there. One, obviously, the political hurdle, which is Congress has known that this is a potential problem for quite a while and has done nothing. And let's look at other areas where Congress has failed to act. We know it is so important that it now takes 60 votes because of the filibuster really to pass anything in the Senate. I don't see those 60 votes. The other hurdle here is that based on how the decision is written, I think Congress needs to be very careful and very specific in terms of exactly what it is authorizing the EPA to do. The punchline here, of course, is it's a big legal decision in terms of the authority of federal agencies. It's also a big practical decision because, as Justice Kagan points out in her dissent, this has real implications for our ability to try and fight impending climate disaster. And this is a setback for that fight.
Jessica, on immigration, the justices also ruled that President Biden can shut down the Trump-era Remain in Mexico immigration policy. Why is this decision seen as a major victory for the Biden administration as well as human rights advocates?
Well, I think because it basically reasserts that the president, in fact, does have the power, even under this fairly complicated rubric of federal immigration laws, but does have the power to roll back this somewhat unpopular policy that was implemented by the Trump administration. Now, why does it matter on the ground? It matters because we've heard many reports that people who were forced, in fact, to go back to Mexico while they were waiting for their immigration proceedings to occur in the U.S., that they faced really deplorable conditions, that they were victims of things like sexual assault, that they were basically in unsafe and unsanitary conditions, and that it created or exacerbated a humanitarian crisis. Now, legally speaking, it's an important decision because the court's looking at the federal immigration law and saying, federal immigration law does not require that if Congress doesn't give the resources to detain everybody, you must send everybody under this particular category back to Mexico. So again, legal implications and practical implications, very similar to what we just talked about in the EPA, where it's a big case legally, it's also a big case in terms of real world consequences.
And so, Jessica, in terms of also real world consequences, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson was sworn in today, as you know, as President Biden's first Supreme Court nominee. She becomes the first Black woman on the high court. How is this expected to not only affect the balance of power in the court, but also just the appearance of the court, you know, for all Americans? How is the legacy of the court going to change going forward?
So what we know is that this is a 6-3 conservative majority court. It was yesterday, it will be today, with now Justice Jackson on it. And so there are some decisions where when we expected a 6-3 split, we're still going to get a 6-3 split. And we got some news this morning about big cases the court is going to hear next term. But every person, when you're just talking about 9 people, think about having 9 people over to your house for lunch, for tea, for a discussion. One person leaves, another person comes in. Maybe they have generally the same views on the outcome of certain big issues, but they're going to fundamentally change the conversation and maybe how you get to that endpoint. One of the big things to watch with Justice Jackson is she will be a member of the minority, I expect, for quite some time. but can she try and find places of consensus? Can she maybe try and pull the conservative majority back from some bigger decisions, get some more narrow decisions? It will be really interesting to see. Every new justice fundamentally does change the court, again, because you only have 9 members of the court to start with. So I'm really looking forward to see how she does affect the court's decisions.
It is a historic moment. There's never been a justice with her background on the high court. Jessica Levinson, Jessica, thanks as always for your insight.
Thank you.